Did you freak out when that Tommy Chong shit went down?
Yeah, I did. I thought they were trying to make an example of him, and it just so happened that it was close to election time when this happened, that they, decided to make an example of him. Just
for folks who don't know, just tell the story because it's crazy. It's a crazy story.
Well, he got into making paraphernalia like, pipes and whatever. He had the Chong pipes, or I can't remember if that's what they were called, but they were little wooden pipes. And I think he was also doing bongs too. And he had a website that, sold these bongs. And I think it was ran by his son or something like that. And son and wife, something like that. And in some states, you can't, this paraphernalia is illegal, no matter how you label it. If you label it as a tobacco product or what we know it to be, either way, there's zero tolerance in those places. Like, for instance, Pennsylvania, I think where it happened, some kid bought the bong, through the website or something like that, got delivered. His parents found the bong, asked him where he got it. He told them, and they went after him. But originally, I think it was his son or wife that was actually, going to be, put on blast for it.
Fuck.
And he decided that he would take it on his back instead of letting his kid or wife go down. He threw it on his back, you know what I mean? And they made an example out of him because he is an outspoken person, in the realm of, the legalization movement.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. It was horrible. I mean,
scary. It's so scary that someone would do that, to put anyone in jail ever for something like that.
Yeah, just as an example, and to get votes for the next voting cycle.
Well, it's this misconception, and this is one of the things that always gets me upset at doctors who make fun of it. Like Brian, I lost my volume there. Did it go back? Did you fix it? Like when doctors will, tell you, look, if you want to have your pot, if if that's your thing, go ahead. It's no big deal. You want to get silly, but I would recommend you not.
Right.
When they have like this flippant attitude towards it, like I want to tell them, like, you don't understand that you're missing out on a lot of great shit that plant can bring into your life.
Yeah.
And just because you run into a few people that can't handle it, well, guess what? There's probably a lot of shit those people can't handle.
That's exactly true.
A lot of shit those people can't handle, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with weed.
That I don't think that today's actual medical doctors, the ones that give physicals, exams, and stuff, that don't have anything to do with this culture, they don't know enough about it, and they don't care to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the doctors that do know are considered quacks. They put these fucking labels on them so that it makes their opinions invalid. But people are smarter these days. There's more information out there than there was 20 years ago, where you had to go buy books to find out whatever information in regards to, the politics of it or growing it or, just the history of it, where now that shit is all over online and people have educated themselves and they kind of know exactly what's going on. So when they're fed this bullshit, people get frustrated because, you're thinking that people are buying the same old bullshit that they used to. And we all know that, besides smoking it the way we do, there's so many, uses for it. And there's so many reasons that it should be legal. I mean,
you know Todd McCormick, right?
Yes.
Todd McCormick always says it best. He says the real issue is that it's a commodity.
Yeah.
And you make that commodity legal, you're going to open it up to farmers.
Yeah.
And you're going to allow people to have control over a pretty powerful resource.
Really?
Hemp, the product hemp is illegal in this country. Like, you can't grow hemp in this country because it's too close to marijuana. Even though it's not even psychoactive, it's too close to marijuana, so you can't grow it. Well, that's ridiculous because the plant itself has so many fucking uses, like an incredible amount of uses for nutrition and for protein and for making paper and cloth. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, it's one of those things where you hear the actual facts and it almost seems like a joke because it's like there's no way there could be something that's this good at so many different things and is illegal.
And you think about it like this, the revenue stream that it can bring on both ends. Like if you're a consumer,
even just the hemp,
even that's what I'm saying.
Hemp.
Even just the hemp,
non-psychoactive.
But even on both ends, let's just say you separated both lines of it and said, okay, we're going to grow hemp for this, and we're going to let people consume it. So we're going to let this, them grow this part for the people who consume it. Like let's say tobacco products and stuff like that, like a carton of cigarettes or whatever. Let's just say they applied it to that and made the hemp, the other stuff that can come of it, like you said, whatever is consumable as far as the nutritional values of it and whatnot. The revenue streams on both ends, they can't create. They don't know where to get any new revenue streams from, not in any state all over the country, especially in the places like California where their economy is shit. Our economy here in the state is fucked up, let alone the United States, period. These are revenue streams they could take advantage of, tax dollar, create jobs, because if you do open up those farms, you got to have the people to work the farms.
I think it's. I mean, there's
so many reasons.
There's so many reasons, but I think it's one of the most shocking things about human beings. I mean, it's one of the most shocking things about human culture is that somehow or another, just because someone was really good at lying about 60 years ago, just because they were really awesome at lying, we're still suffering from that today.
They had the best team of liars. Compile a bunch of garbage that they did no studies on or didn't know how to study.
Well, the whole reefer madness thing, I mean, that should be evidence enough for people that there was some funkiness afoot.
That was so much
crazy.
Bullshit, man.
For folks who haven't seen it, it's amazing to think that this was what they were trying to convince people pot does to you. Remember the guy's like playing the piano and shit, and he's fucking puffing away at the pot, and he's losing his mind.
Yeah, he looks like he's tweaking.
Totally.
He looks like he's tweaking, man. And I never, ever seen anybody looking like that.
Yeah.
Smoking as much as we smoke, and the people that we smoke with, man. I mean, we smoke some really strong shit. And if you're going to see somebody freak out, it definitely ain't in the way that it was.
I've seen it, though.
Portrayed.
Reefer madness?
No, I've seen a girl freak out. Like this girl smoked once, and it was her first time smoking, and she ran as fast as she could towards the bathroom, hit the bathtub, and just flew into the shower. Totally should have broke like her legs. She ran so fast.
It's like Joe said earlier. It's for some people, they can't handle the shit.
Right. Yeah. There needs to be a driver's test for it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there should be a driver's test for pot. That's a good call.
Everybody handles their shit different.
A driver's test for pot is actually a very good call.
Exactly.
Brian.
Just get you really stoned, and you have to listen to some like Grateful Dead, and then get you really stoned and listen to some punk, and then get really stoned and mix it with some alcohol. There's like all these tests that you have to do, and then you get graded on each one. Like, okay, you can get stoned with everyone except women. We put you with 3 women, and you totally just started combing their hair, and then you started hitting them. So.
There should be some evaluation, man. But then to be by who? The government? The government's going to be able to step in and tell you what.
No,
you
it should be like the Boy Scouts or something.
The Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts. We should take you on a camping
trip. It should be us.
See if you can handle
we should
mushrooms.
be the ones to make the regulation.
Right.
Yeah,
it should
the
be.
internet. You should have to write a blog, and the internet could decide whether or not you're a douche. And that's what you just tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself. Well, I'm fucking pretty awesome. Basically, I'm the best at everything I do.
I totally fucking rule.
Yeah, you can't get weed. You can't handle this shit.
No,
you need a few yoga classes first, son.
No, I've seen people totally freak out. There was one time, man, when the Kush first came around in 1995, right? I was one of the first people with it here in Cali.
And the Kush is just super strong.
The OG Kush is obviously one of the strongest.
Deep indica.
To me, it's the strongest. I've smoked other shit that was strong, but that one, after smoking it for like maybe since 95 till now, it still gets me high as fuck. Okay, no,
that sounds ridiculous.
I can't say that for any other herb. I could smoke shitloads of herb all day, but when we first got that, so like we were the only ones with it at the time. It was like a small circle of guys, and we were on tour. We went to Michigan, right? And Michigan had some good herb. You know what I mean? They had some nice green, smelly shit. And we were backstage chilling, and one of my friends, he had a group of girls that he knew out there and shit, and They come back, hey, so you're Cypress Hill, huh? Where's all the weed at? I don't smell no weed in here. I heard you guys are the weed kings and all that. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And I bet you don't got no better weed than me. We're like, all right, well, we'll smoke some of our shit with you. But look, if we smoke our shit, all jokes aside, just hit it slow. Don't hit it hard because this shit is really strong. And I know you're talking all that shit, but just just trust me. Don't hit this too hard, right? She goes, I probably smoke better weed than you. I'm like,
no.
Okay, all right, okay. This was like in 1997.
Everybody always wants to pretend they have the best weed. Why is that?
And they always want to brag to me that they do. You know what I'm saying?
No one's ever like, yo, my weed is shit.
My weed is
I got
crap,
bullshit
man.
weed, man.
I got some whack weed. You don't
barely
want to smoke
high, dude.
I got some whack weed, but you want to smoke my shit?
Smoke all day and I'm barely high.
But
I only say that when I know the other person has better weed, and I want to go, oh no, because I want to smoke your weed.
You know.
So she says to you, I've smoked better weed than you.
I've probably smoked better weed than you, right? So I'm like, all right.
Is there a more preposterous statement?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I've never seen a picture of you without a pot leaf next to you somewhere.
Yeah, you know, so she was openly testing me, right? So I said, okay, let's roll one up then, right? So we roll one up, and just like I told her not to do, she takes a fucking huge hit, like trying to show off, you know.
Oh God!
You know, the super exaggerated. Let me prove how big of a stoner I am. Hit, right? Wrong move. Wrong fucking move. She starts coughing up lungs and shit. Head spinning, and within 5 to 10 minutes, she was like, "What did you guys put in this weed? I've never felt this before. What did you guys with this guy? This shit was laced. This shit was laced. I never smoked nothing like this. I've been smoking a long time. I've never felt this." I'm like, see, I told you. Look, I said, we hit the shit too. I mean, you don't see us freaking out. You know, there was nothing. You watched me roll it. I told you not to hit it hard. I said, you know what? You better take this bitch home. You know what? Get your friend and take her home. She can't handle her shit.
Oh,
you
wow.
know?
Have you ever felt that, though, at all? Have you ever smoked something where you're like, this shit was laced? This was like embalming fluid or anything something like this?
I have a story like that, but I didn't freak out like that. You know? We had just filmed this video for Latin Lingo off of our first album, and I hadn't smoked all day. My homie that lived in Long Beach, you know, he was like, yeah, come up, bro. We're fucking blazing right now, you know? And it was about 10, 11 o'clock, whatever. So I head all the way out to Long Beach, and he hands me a bowl. It's a circle of guys. Fucking room is just smoked out. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. It's not going to take long to get high here. So he gives me this 3-foot bong, you know, one of those graphics ones. Remember the old graphics, acrylics, with the tin bottom and shit. So he gives me one of those. I take a hit. I'm feeling cool, right? It goes around the circle, comes back to me. Boom, I hit another one. Third, comes back a third time. So after the third time, I'm like feeling extra high, and that's usually nothing to me. I was like, what the fuck, man? Why am I feeling? I'm like starting to feel closed in and claustrophobic. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's fucking hot in here, man. Can you open the window, bro? I'm fucking dying. I can't breathe, right? And they're like, dude, why are you freaking out? I said, I don't know, man. I'm high right now. He goes, oh, it must be the hash we put on the bottom of the bowl. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know there was hash on the bottom of the bowl, but I was freaking out at first because I'm like, man, I've smoked this weed before. Why am I so tripping off of 3 fucking bowls? I had to leave. I'm like, all right, guys, I gotta go, man.
Hash is a very odd high.
It's heavy,
especially when you're not expecting it.
No, it's heavy. Yeah, I definitely wasn't.
It's like a super cousin to marijuana.
Yeah, nobody went out of their way to tell me till after.
Oh.
I took all 3 bowls.
Oh my goodness!
You know, like a champ. You know, because I was a bong hitting motherfucker back then. And man, dude, after like 15 minutes, I was just like, man, I'm feeling crispy. What the fuck is going on? This usually is just a warm up.
Yeah, I took a cookie once on a plane, and it was every now and then you get a cookie that just blows your fucking mind. And I took it before I got on board, and so I figure I always time it for like an hour and 20 minutes. That's usually what it takes, right?
Yeah.
Before you're just not moving.
Yeah.
That's it. Wherever you are is where you stay. So I got on board and got in just in time. The plane takes off. I strap in. I pull back, click, click on the seat, right? and just go into orbit. Eyes closed. I'm watching like neon cartoons fuck in front of my eyeballs, and I'm like literally seeing hallucinations.
Shit.
And I'm feeling my body flying through the air, going 500 miles an hour. I'm like super hyper aware that I'm in this metal tube hurling through the sky.
You're fucking
and I'm
super
leaning
yeah.
back in my chair while this is going on. I'm going, fuck! This is crazy. And I'm hallucinating at the same time and seeing crazy things.
Damn.
Yeah, you'll take cookies and you'll be convinced it's over.
Oh yeah.
This is it.
Look,
I can't survive this.
The cookies are misleading. The cookies are misleading.
They seem
because,
so cute.
Yeah, they taste so fucking good. You like, and then they don't hit you right away. So you're like, maybe I got to eat another one. And then before you know it, you're like 3 in. And fucking toasted beyond belief.
I know I've said this 100 times on the podcast before, but I just have to say it in the interest of that somebody might not know this. If you eat it, it's a totally different high. Because your body produces something called 11-hydroxy metabolite. It's by eating it, it gets processed by your liver, and it's 4 to 5 times more psychoactive than THC.
Yeah.
So that's the real issue with it. This is not. No one educates anybody about this. You just think it's this is strong. It's not just strong. It's something you've never experienced before.
Yeah. If you do too much, you'll freak out.
Yeah. It's a psychedelic.
Yeah. It can. Yeah, for sure. If you have enough of it, for
Yeah.
sure, you could definitely have one of those freakouts where you're like, I want it to end. I want it to end.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you cannot make it end. You got to ride it all the way the fuck out.
Dude, my friend Eddie Bravo had one where he was crying and thinking about his grandmother and going through some crazy shit about this. He had created some character, like it was like a white guy who wanted to be a black rapper so bad he put black makeup on. He was like literally putting blackface on, and he was saying that he had vitiligo and that he's just trying to even his skin out. But he got so high from eating this brownie that he was so sorry that he made it. And he was like, man, people are going to misunderstand. They're going to hate me. They're going to think I'm making fun of black people. What did I do? Like, he was terrified. It was like he had gone to the grips of sanity.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, he was fine again.
He's totally, back down to earth, man.
Like,
that shit makes you so fucking paranoid. Yeah, when you get super fucking high like that off of, an edible, I mean, you get, either you have a great time, you know what I mean? And you you relish it. It's
right.
like, yes, this was the fucking perfect amount to have. Or you're that guy, like I said, I want it to end right now. But you can't. You have to ride it out, man.
You have to ride it out.
You have to ride it out. And just always remember to breathe.
Yeah, always remember to breathe. I mean, this people don't even understand what we're saying because this is not really life-threatening for folks who've never done anything.
No, it just
That's not what
trips
it
you
is.
out.
What it is it's so self-examinatory. It's so like your life has gone over in such massive detail. It's like your frequency has been altered. It's like you're much more perceptive about your environment.
It's like having to fucking fine comb through all your shit yourself.
Yeah.
And just the things you got going on.
And then the universe itself and just the idea of biological life,
It's almost like a lighter form of what mushrooms do to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's similar, but, not as intense.
Not as intense, but at high doses, I think it could be just as intense.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the Vedic texts and stuff and like ancient Hindu stuff, a lot of it was based on the eating of hash.
Yeah.
That's like one of their main like things that they would consume.
Yeah. It's crazy that they would eat it.
Yeah.
Imagine when it broke down.
That was God damn it. Jesus.
You must have felt close to whatever higher, power you were believing in. You must have felt like right there.
Well, I've seen on edibles, I've seen like weird Aztec sort of imagery and shit when you close your eyes. I've seen that, that crazy deep edible sleeping high of like the immensely illuminated dream world. I think
it definitely activates the part of the brain that you normally can't get to. You know what I mean? Because there is that side that we normally can't get to, just as we are when we're not on anything. We're just here in this world, right here, right now. But like things like mushrooms and eating, the doing the edible style, you tap into those parts, those little parts that you normally can't get.
Well, you know what I think it is, man? I think what you are, we like to think of ourselves as individuals, but what you are is the sum of your nutrition, your genetics, your environment. There's all kinds of stuff that makes you who you are.
Right.
And when you add in these like plants that people have been using for their psychological benefit for thousands of years, when you add those in, I think it makes you more.
Yeah.
I think it makes you more of whatever. You have more energy. There's more thought going on. There's more. It adds to your system.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of your system, and you become more. I think you think more. You're more thoughtful. You're more community oriented. You're more creative.
Yeah.
That's how I always feel.
I think so too. I think for some people it
freaks them out.
It freaks them out, and some people it does different. Some people it makes them lackadaisical and unaware. But that's the whole thing, is that it affects everybody different.
Yeah.
Like for guys like us, we can function on it. We can be creative. We can do our jobs, and it doesn't affect us one way or another. You know what I mean? It's like you said. It kind of enhances our abilities to focus on whatever our tasks are, or be more creative, or things like that.
It relaxes your ego too.
It relaxes, definitely does that. You know, and I think it sometimes, makes you a little bit more patient.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
we could all use that.
You're such in a relaxed mode that you don't really want to be bothered by anything. That's
There's that.
It's like, just come on, man, relax.
There's definitely that.
So I mean, that's the thing, though. We've been doing it for so long that we've had a chance to, experience all these things,
But universally, like the people that I meet that are like professional weed smokers, they're cool as fuck.
Cool as fuck.
Like I got to hang out with Tommy Chong like a couple of times.
Cool as fuck.
Take
Funny.
pictures with him. He's such a nice guy.
Funny guy.
What a nice guy to be around too.
As a matter of fact, I'll see Tommy on Thursday, because we're doing this march on March 1st from City Hall to the Federal Building in downtown Los Angeles off of Temple. And it's to create awareness for all the things that the feds are doing to try to close down all the dispensaries and collectives and stuff like that. So we're doing this thing called the Smoke Out for Safe Access and whatnot. We're doing it with Americans for Safe Access, my partner Don Duncan, and it's all a part of our Smoke Out festival that we got jumping off on the 3rd this Saturday. So we're going to be down there. Tommy's going to be down there. It's a peaceful protest. We're going to have, some speakers, just give that education and information to people, so that they can figure out what they need to do to, stop that from happening. Because
the folks that don't know and are ignorant about it, there's plenty of books on the subject of the history of marijuana, but it was basically a railroad scam by William Randolph Hearst and and a bunch of other people who didn't want
big corporations
hemp as a commodity.
DuPont, them being one of the corporations.
In what was it? Like 1930 or something
in the
when
30s.
all this happened.
Yeah,
think about that. Here we are.
Because before that, it was legal. Before that, it wasn't illegal. It wasn't taboo or anything. It was a part of the society.
Yeah, and when they made marijuana illegal, they didn't even know they were making hemp illegal.
Yeah.
And the fact that happened, now, look at it where we're at now, 2012. That's almost 100 years ago. That's fucking crazy.
That's how,
What an amazing job they did. What an amazing piece of propaganda.
Yeah.
That in the age of information, you would figure all the bullshit would dissolve in the age of information.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached it. We've yet to figure out what's entirely true, like in Wikipedia entries and shit like that. But essentially, this is the age of information.
You know what's funny about that is that now that people are informed, when you question the people who follow along with the lies that the government's told us about the plant and the history of it and all that stuff, when you present actual facts to them, and calling them on bullshit, they act like it doesn't exist still. Like they turn their face from it, and we don't know anything about that. They play the denial game, and they got to realize is that people are more informed these days. They educate themselves, because people feel their governments lie to them. You see the shit going around the world, traveling around the world and you see everything that's going on, people are fed up because they're getting fed bullshit by their governments from one degree to another, you know, and this is just another form of it.
It's really a simple formula. Weed expands your consciousness. Weed makes you nicer, gives you more of a sense of community. The government doesn't want you to smoke weed. The government needs weed. It's that simple.
Yeah.
They just need to get high.
They need to get high.
That's really exactly what it is. Like the idea that, you know, just because we don't want some laws, like laws that are oppressive, doesn't mean we're not looking for government. Doesn't mean we're not looking for laws against murder and rape. And like, we're good citizens.
Let me
lump
tell you.
us in with, you know what I mean? Just because of a personal psychoactive choice to lump us in with criminals is really a fucked up thing to do.
I'll tell you what. I believe, strongly believe, that a lot of these politicians smoke weed. Some of them, not necessarily all of them, because even in the Carter administration, there was a time Willie Nelson went to visit the White House, and there was somebody on Carter's staff, general or some shit. They took him up to the roof of the White House and they smoked. Willie Nelson told this on Howard Stern. I was listening to that show. And he was saying that, you know, he went up there and smoked with one of the generals, smoked some weed up there.
God damn.
And, you know, you got to think about it like this. A lot of those dudes probably, you know, in their leisure time, they probably smoke pot. But
that's crazy.
But
their job makes them have to go after people.
But their job makes them have to shut the fuck up about it, go after people, because here's the thing, right? The people that vote a lot are the religious. You know, a lot of religious folks vote those guys into office. A lot of Republicans get voted by, you know, the religious faction of the, you know, United States. You know, if you fall in favor to, you know, our movement, the pro-legalization movement, you lose votes, you lose that seat, you lose that position. And
you lose all that influence.
Yeah. So until they can figure out how to sell it to the religious voters, they're always going to be on the side that they're on. When they figure out how to sell it to them and say, oh, hey, look, this is okay. We need this. It's going to stimulate our economy in every state. It's going to bring new jobs, you know, new revenue. Till they figure out how to sell that to them without it like looking like some hypocritical shit, you know, that they promise, you know, these particular base of voters. They're always going to act like, okay, we need to go after these guys, because look, this is why they're going. To me, my theory is they're going after the dispensaries because it's, you know, voting time. Everybody's campaigning. They want to, you know, make promises and.
Well, the only way we can stop that is as a people, we let them know how disgusting it is, and let companies know that they have to respect the stoner dollar.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of us, man.
Really?
There's a lot of stoners. And if stoners all got together and said, oh, this company, this X company is bad for civil liberties or bad for people or bad, and let's stop using this product.
Right.
That would have a significant impact.
Definitely.
If amongst stoners they were like, oh, man, you know, you should never use that because this company exploits blah, 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 and we you know, we have a deal where we don't use their shit. That's a big financial deal.
Definitely.
You have to think of how many of us.
Yeah. And think about it like this. These dispensaries, most of them, probably 70% of them, do really well. So that creates a lot of tax dollar for each state that they're in. You know, places like Denver, Michigan, obviously California. It's big business, and it creates so much capital. You take these dispensaries away, and each state is going to feel that because there's no other. I mean, you got movies and stuff like that generates money in some of these places. But other than that, there's, you know, it's like a fucking no-brainer. It's like, it's cliche to say, but it's the number one cash crop. And it's proven, you know, by how much these dispensaries make and how much it affected the state economy. You know what I mean?
Did you hear about this Vegas prosecutor that got caught with crack?
Yeah.
The guy arrested Bruno Mars for cocaine and Paris Hilton
and he
for
got
cocaine.
caught with crack.
He got caught smoking crack. This motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's the prosecutor.
But that's what I'm saying, man. You know, you got these guys that are coming down on the medical marijuana movement or the pro legalization movement, and they're doing worse drugs than
they're crazy.
You know?
I have a friend, and his wife takes Xanax. And she takes Xanax all the time, man. And the way it's been explained to me is that Xanax calms you down and makes you feel so good and so relaxed and like without a care in the world. But when it wears off, then you're like at a heightened state of like paranoia and weirdness. And you just feel like
I
off.
could see that, man. And
that it actually sets you back from where you were. Like, say if you were feeling shitty, when you're done, when it wears off, it actually sets you back. This woman would never consider marijuana, never, because marijuana would be like, oh, marijuana.
Yeah, because
like, what am I, a junkie?
Yeah, because exactly.
like
the
literally,
label, because
yeah.
the black label that's been put on
Yeah,
it. You know what I
it's
mean?
amazing.
And that's the other issue here. Is that pharmaceuticals companies stand to lose money if this becomes illegal because it substitutes for a lot of things that marijuana can treat. Whether you consume it by smoking it or by a tablet.
Yeah, but you know what? Pharmaceutical companies have to understand. Stop being greedy cunts. There's a lot of shit that you can make that's awesome. Just because pot is going to make some of your shit not worth as much as it was before, it doesn't mean you won't have all sorts of other drugs that are being invented to cure all sorts of other things. It shouldn't be that there's a war between pharmaceutical and natural cures. It should be that they all work together.
Yeah, it should be working together, but that goes to show you how greedy they are.
Goes to show you that the pharmaceutical companies need to start smoking weed.
You know what it is they'd rather keep people addicted on that chemically made bullshit that really doesn't treat you for anything. It just suppresses the shit for the meantime for as long as you take it. But what it is that when people are subscribed all these, this medication over the counter shit, most of the time they're taking all this different stuff that marijuana could treat, and then they develop something else from taking so many different medications to treat all these different things, and they end up getting fucked up by that medication that it's treating to suppress some other shit that they're fucked up for, and that's. That boggles my mind. Why would you stick to this when it's progressively making you worse in another area that you didn't have a problem in till you started taking so many of this over-the-counter shit when you could have just smoked a joint or taken a THC tablet or whatever edible, that would probably alleviate your problem.
Well, a lot of people's problems, instead of getting them a pill for it, a lot of people's problems are comprehensive. It's diet, it's your life, the kind of stress that you're involved in. Like, what is your happiness level like? How much sleep are you getting? There's a lot of shit going on. And a lot of people, you try to fix one thing or another with a pill, and you run into slippery slopes. However, there's a lot of people that have like some serious diseases, and some bad motherfuckers have come up with some awesome medication for those diseases and allow these people to live like regular lives. So it's not that it's not that we should be against pharmaceutical companies. That pharmaceutical companies should just leave natural shit alone.
Yeah.
Stop trying to just control everything through your fucking chemicals. You have enough chemicals, and it's going to be uber profitable as it is. You're still a gigantic, huge fucking company.
Yeah, they'll always be those companies.
Yeah, we're always going to need medication. We're always going to need all sorts of different shit, antibiotics, all sorts of different things that these big corporations can provide. It's not like we should be against them.
Yeah, I mean, in
monopoly.
reality,
well, it sort of is. Yeah, it is.
Sure.
A monopoly.
In reality, you need him. You need him to a degree, but when they're trying to flesh out the small guy, that's when it's the monopoly. Like we're running all this shit. There is no room for you because the room is ours.
And it's not beneficial to the state of modern medicine if it's illegal. Because if it's illegal, then you can't trust it as, people have, the word holistic gets like a bad reputation. You say, oh, he's into holistic medicine. Oh, this crystal sucking weird motherfucker. You just think, what kind of stupid tea are you drinking that thing's going to cure cancer? You know what I mean? There's a few people that get a little silly with that shit. But the idea of it being accepted as a cure for certain things, like there's like cranberry juice. If someone has a bladder infection, or when your girls have urinary tract infections, they drink cranberry juice, and it actually helps it. It absolutely cures it. There's a natural cure. Doctors will tell you drink cranberry juice. Right. There's a lot of things that doctors could tell you. What could help you is marijuana. Right. It could help you,
but they don't.
They
because
can't. It makes them look like quacks.
Yeah, and. Sometimes they're working with certain pharmaceutical companies. They got to push the pharmaceuticals. So it goes against the best interest of who they're in business with to tell you, okay, this is the alternative you can have if you don't want to take this medication here.
Right. And I'm sure pharmaceutical companies, they give, there's a substantial amount of money for doctors pharmaceutical companies.
For sure.
You know, even that Sanjay Gupta guy, that guy on CNN, you know, that
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
he got paid something like $150,000 last year just from pharmaceutical companies, like for, you know, his endorsement of things. He's, you know, and he's one of those guys that's, marijuana is much more dangerous today than it was 20 years ago.
Because he got paid to say that.
Exactly.
He got paid to say that.
He's a hoe. I mean, you look at him on
straight
TV. Yeah, you look at him on CNN, like, that guy's a hoe. Oh, you're a doctor, and you're telling people it's addictive. The addictive properties is highly dangerous. This is not the marijuana of your father. Oh, really?
This is not the marijuana. Yeah, it's
It
better.
can cause psychosis. You know what else causes psychosis? Life.
Right.
How about that, buddy?
Yeah.
How are you going to determine whether or not someone's freaking out because of life or pot?
Yeah.
That's silly. People are dropping like flies every day. This is it's a tough game. Some people just want to throw the board up in the air.
I mean, you know, when all else fails, you just put it up. Hey, look, you know, alcohol is legal and tobacco is legal. Both are proven killers in comparison.
What about pharmaceutical drugs that
the,
you know,
and
like
the
painkillers?
Yeah, and the pharmaceuticals.
The heavy
you know.
duty ones, you know, oxys and all that kind of shit. I mean, it's an amazing number of people that are fucked up on oxys.
They just need to end the prohibition already. Just let it go for broke.
I had a friend who got hooked on oxy. He hurt his back, and he got a doctor in one state to prescribe him medication, and then he moved to another state, and then he got a new doctor in another state, and you know, had all his medical records. So that guy was prescribing him oxys. He thought he was cool. He thought he was like, I'm so smart. I got 2 oxy prescriptions. He's just like, in case I need them, they're there.
They're there.
And this motherfucker just started eating them daily and just rotted away into a zombie.
Yeah.
He pulled himself out of it after like a year or so. But
that shit is hard,
yeah,
man.
it was dark.
Highly addictive, man.
Dark. Have you ever seen that show on it? The OxyContin Express.
No, I haven't seen that. I heard of it, but I haven't had a chance to see it
It's
yet.
fucking brilliant. It's on that show Vanguard. It's one of those weird documentary shows. It's hard to find, but if you just look online for the OxyContin Express.
OxyContin Express.
Oh man, it'll blow your mind. Your mind. It's all about how many. You know, in Florida they do. It's like you can do that all day. In Florida,
that is insane.
You can just go to 100 doctors.
Fucking insane that shit is cool in Florida when it's a zero tolerance state. You get busted
crazy.
for like a fucking a seed.
A roach. Yeah.
You're out of here. They're taking you to jail. I mean, you may not do no serious time, but they're putting you through the inconvenience of arresting you, giving you a fucking mug shot, the whole shot.
That's a state just bending over to pharmaceutical companies.
Oh my God!
Completely.
Well, they got so many, senior citizens over there that, all of them are meted up, you know. So
well, it's not just them, though. A lot of people are getting hooked on the oxys.
Oxys, yeah, for sure.
A lot of people are hooked on that shit.
You know, that's the funny thing is that there's always a trend in pharmaceuticals of something new that comes out, everybody's getting smashed on.
I had a friend's family member who got hooked on oxys. Regular dude, hurt his back, started taking oxys, and just was fucking gone. Couldn't keep a job, whacked out, looking for. He'll steal shit out of your house to fucking pay for his oxys.
Because, I mean, when you look at it, it's synthetic heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, this dude needed it. He was gone.
I'll tell you something else that's highly addictive.
Oxy pads.
These funky field tips, right?
That's a commercial by Be Real from Cypress Hill. What are they called again? Funky
The Cypress Hill funky field tips. They're made of glass.
Funky Feel.
Yeah,
Funky Field Tips.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if you're a joint smoker, spliff smoker, blunt smoker that likes rolling with tips, this shit right here, once you smoke with this, you won't want to smoke a regular joint. I'm gonna show that to you, right?
You and I had this conversation. I saw you in an interview, and you said that you don't smoke with people you don't know.
Most of the time, like sometimes I'll smoke with fans and stuff like that, but you just never know what somebody's putting in their shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Or who you're smoking
or
with.
Who you're smoking with, neither, knows how fucking sick they might be and shit like that. I always look. All right, are they coughing? Are they sniffling? Where the hands been?
Has anybody ever got high with someone and said, "Freeze, I'm a cop," right after it's over? Has anybody ever done that?
Not yet, man.
That would be so rude.
Knock on wood. Shit.
You heard about all that shit that's going down in Florida where cops are pretending to be high school kids?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
Those
One
tips are
cop,
awesome, by the way.
amazing. One cop, she was 25 years old. She made friends with a 15-year-old, was flirting with him, Facebook friends, talked him into getting her some weed. The dude was an honor student.
Oh,
The
man.
dude never
21
smoked
Jump Street,
weed.
huh?
Exactly. Kid never smoked weed, didn't do anything. She talked him into getting her the weed, and he said, "I don't want any money for this. This is a gift." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. You're under arrest, stupid." And they all locked him down. Now this kid is in a fucking terrible situation where he might have to go to jail.
Over some weed.
Over a weed from a 25-year-old woman pretending to be a high school kid, manipulating him, pretending to be his friend.
Isn't that what they call entrapment?
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like that to me.
Beyond.
That sounds exactly like that.
Yo, that's
like
beyond entrapment. Asking a fucking 15-year-old kid to behave himself in a controlled manner around a grown woman that's hot who's flirting with him?
Yeah.
Wait, that's like how dishonest are they being about the effect that woman had on that kid's
Yeah,
state?
exactly.
You
That's
know,
100% relevant.
He got her some weed as a present. I mean, think about it, man. There's Harold and Kumar movies, and it goes back to Cheech and Chong. It's a part of pop culture. How is this kid supposed to know that this is a horrible
probably had
thing
perky
that could
nipples.
ruin his life, and he's 15 years old?
he didn't even accept money. He gave it to her, right?
Exactly. He was in love with her. He said it's a gift. She was hot.
Oh, what a
He
bitch.
thought he had the perfect woman.
What a
Oh my
fucking
God. She's not like everybody else. She seems so
Oh.
mature and calm, and she's so into me. She was like a stripper. She worked him like a stripper.
Oh man, that is cold-blooded.
She did, man. That is fucked up shit.
cold-blooded.
That is, I don't care what the law is, all right? I'll explain. That's a cunt.
That's a cunt.
That's
for
a
sure.
cunt. That's a terrible person.
The fucking true meaning of the word.
Yeah,
right?
what, you had to do that to keep your job? Is that what you're saying? You
'Cause he-
ruined some nice kid's
Because
life?
he probably wasn't even selling it. He probably went and bought it for her. You know what I'm saying?
I tapped
I
out.
just tapped out.
I tapped out.
Wow.
It's fucking horrific, man. It's just because something's written down somewhere doesn't mean it's the way we should be living.
She took
That's
totally
nonsense.
could have let him slide with that shit. Because one, he probably didn't have a history of selling that shit. Two, he was trying to like be nice and
The kid
impress.
was an honor roll student,
and he's
man.
an honor roll student. Probably
That kid's
never,
fine.
Never had a fucking blemish on his record
Yeah.
till now over that
That's
fucking
like
bitch.
a textbook example of what's wrong. How is it possible that you are creating an issue and then taking a good person and making them a part of the system now? You're putting this kid in jeopardy. You're putting his future in jeopardy. Because of a loophole? This loophole that a plant's illegal, this ridiculous thing that's written
ridiculous.
somewhere, despite all the medical... The fact that there's people that call themselves cops that would be willing to perpetrate that on an innocent kid, an innocent civilian, just living his life, an innocent citizen, that's beyond fucked up, man. That's indicative of a real deep problem where people think that just because some shit is written somewhere that it's okay. And
Yeah.
just because, that's the law. Shut the fuck up. Okay, how about we vote online? How about we have a vote online? And everybody wants to talk about like what are the percentage of people that think marijuana will be legal? Oh, well, the recent Gallup poll. Gallup can suck my dick.
Yeah.
How about we go on Twitter? How many people want marijuana legal? Boom! Make the hashtag, make it legal. It would
Exactly.
be everybody.
It'd be astonishing. They'd be fucking. They would be surprised.
Even
to see how
smart
many
people who don't smoke weed or ever want to smoke weed think weed should be legal because they know it's a civil liberties issue. And if it's weed, next thing they're coming after your fucking cigars.
Exactly.
Next thing they're coming after whatever. There could be some consideration where one day hard liquor becomes illegal. They make some sort of a deal with the beer companies, and beer companies say, "Listen, the hard liquor's responsible for all the deaths. The hard liquor," and they go after hard liquor, and that's a real thing. Could you imagine?
You just never know when it's going to stop.
Exactly.
You never know when it's going to stop.
Exactly.
You know,
it's preposterous that you have any choices. It should make sense on paper. Like, does this choice kill people? How about peanuts? Peanuts kill 100 fucking people a year.
People that are allergic to
150 people die every year because coconuts fall on their head.
it. Yeah.
I mean, there should be.
There's a number for that.
There's a number.
People think that's that's funny, but there's a number for that.
When people go like, "Well, alcohol kills 100,000 people a year," I go, "Yeah, 100,000 people got fucked up. They made mistakes. They went too far. They got crazy. They had alcohol poisoning. They went nutty.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. Just don't let that be you."
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be the individual's responsibility.
Exactly, man. It's like the whole idea of nerfing the world is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like we're not teaching people how to reasonably handle these things. Instead, we're trying to like just prevent them. And we don't. Everybody should know by this point that the worst way to raise people is to suppress them. Because then they rebound. They want to go the exact opposite way. Religious girls want to become whores as soon as they get away from their dads. You know, it's like, not all of them, ladies. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. It's just an analogy I'm making.
It's an analogy.
So, you know, them telling us not to do it and suppressing us in that way, it just makes people rebound in the opposite direction.
Yeah, man. And look, no matter how much you try to suppress information, people will get it, especially this day and age. You know, I mean, there's been countries trying to shut down certain things that you can get on the internet in those particular countries and whatnot, but people will find a way to get it, man. You know, there's hackers all over the world now that if, like, you know, like these anonymous guys, you know, if they wanted to hack certain networks that are shutting down people's ability to you know, like, let's say, watch this show in this particular country. Yeah, their country is shutting it down, but there's always people out there that can, you know, hack through that shit and make it available to people so they can actually educate themselves about what's going on. You know, like when they try to block the media out there, you know, they'll block everybody's account to YouTube, to Google, to whatever search engine or something that you would upload the information and send it out. They try to, you know, because they want to keep people dumbed down. They want to suppress the information within that country so that you don't know what's going on there, and so that, you know, the people can't find out what's going on in other places so that they could be maybe inspired by something that's going on, like, let's say, in like with all the rallies that were going on for a while, you know, where it was Occupy Wall Street. And then they did one down here. Well, we were traveling when all that stuff was going on, and you started to see, you know, Occupy in other countries, you know, and they had their own reasons for doing it. And it's because, you know, they feel everybody around, you know, the world feels like their government is bullshitting them to whatever degree.
This is the age of transparency, and the government isn't recognizing that at certain points. They're still trying to lock things down. They're still trying to suppress it. They're still trying to monitor us without us being able to monitor them. They're still trying to get more access, more the ability to snoop into your bullshit, the ability to hack into your email account, the ability to hack into your. They want to be able to control your life.
Or to stop
online.
you from learning shit, you know?
But it's like there's no evidence of threat. Like, they're trying to take away civil liberties, but there's no evidence of threat.
No.
It's not like anybody here is trying to do anything to anybody. It's like the idea that they would be trying to suppress any like, when was the last time you heard of American citizens being a danger to the rest of America? Is there some internal terrorism that we don't know of that we need to be protected from?
Exactly.
You know, why are you monitoring everybody under the idea that there's a few that are dangerous out there, a few boogeymen out there hiding in the bushes?
And I think they use that as an excuse to do that. To me, you know what I mean? I think it's to me, there's an excuse to try to tap into everybody's shit, to know what's going on. Yeah, I think it's partially to you know, to find out who's trying to plan shit against, you know, the United States and all that.
Yeah.
But to a degree, man, I mean, that gives you an excuse. I mean, not to a degree. It gives them the excuse to listen to everybody's shit. And, you know, where is your privacy at now? You know, there's no privacy at all.
There's a fascinating 180 degrees. I was just in Japan, and going to Japan, when you land and you go through, like, security and the checkpoints, and you go through, you know.
That must have been crazy.
They're so nice. They couldn't be friendlier.
It was easier.
It's so easy.